Hello, I'm Luise Donschen and I'm here with a short film, Entire Days Together. Which is it's the second screening and it's my new short.
Yes, and it is, so to speak, it comes after Casanova Chin, which we showed here at Biennale last year. And but I'm not sure, did you shoot that afterwards also, or did you shoot it before, or where does it come from?
No, I shot it afterwards, so I shot it actually quite before I came with Casanova Chin last year to Biennale, so I shot it in September 2018. And it was shot in Bielefeld, in a city in Germany, and it took me a while to edit it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Bielefeld, for those not knowing Germany so well, is considered isn't it very grey, boring city? Am I wrong? Or is that not something, I mean, it's not a film about Bielefeld, we should say, but that's what I connect with Bielefeld in some way.
Yeah, in Germany we say Bielefeld actually doesn't exist, so which is not true, obviously. But I mean, it was, let's say, the place was given by the school where I mostly filmed. So and actually I realized when shooting this and now scouting for the next film that I somehow like to choose places for one reason or maybe two reasons, and then I have to deal with what is there. So and somehow I like to explore places that are not at the first sight very beautiful or overwhelming, but if you spend time there you find at least your perspective on that place.
It's also very interesting that you said it's a place that doesn't exist, so to speak, because you are also focusing on people or on an institutional work in some way that for me was kind of invisible. I didn't know how something like that looked. I mean, of course, I know about the epileptic, about the sickness as such, but I didn't know that how it is treated or how it looks in these places. So where did the interest come from? Was it first that you were interested in the sickness, or did you meet the protagonist, or what's the order in that?
I mean, the first thing was actually the place. I really, for certain reasons, I came to that special school and I attended one meeting of all the students of that school, and it was really, really strong. There were so much emotions in the room, and all those people with very different disabilities were completely emotional in very different directions, and I just like to stay there, so I stayed, and and then I decided that I would like to work with the students who are about to leave the school, so on the way to the, let's say, real life.
I was not sure during the film if some of the people portrayed were actors even, so I don't know if you can say something about that, but how do you, because in Casanova Chin it was similar also, that sometimes it wasn't clear if a scene was just observed or if you really blended, so maybe you can talk a bit how you achieved this in-betweenness.
It was not something I was looking for, let's say. I was really, all of them are non-actors, so most of them are, as I already said, pupils from that school, but also the others, like the woman working in the hospital, for example. She's from there. She's working there. So they are all doing what they do in their normal life, let's say, and it's a mixture. I mean, at a certain point, I knew with which people I would work with, and I started to, or I chose them, let's say, because they wanted to work with me at the first place, but afterwards they had some kind of, they knew certain things that were interesting for me, or they liked to do certain things that were interesting for me, and actually I just let them do what they know very well, and with them, with the knowledge about their abilities, I wrote the script, and there are things that are not inspired by reality, but a lot of things I saw because they showed it to me.
Mm-hmm. And the second aspect that I find very interesting in this regard is that there is also, in the beginning especially, but also throughout the film, maybe also provoked by this idea of fragmented bodies in the image, but more explicit in the beginning when there is the flickering. Mm-hmm. There is an idea of how to film epilepsis, maybe, or am I wrong? Why did you choose to have the flickering in the beginning? The film begins with somebody closing a curtain, if I remember correctly, so it's dark, and then comes the flickering. So yeah.
The flickering is, it's like, that is what she's seeing, right?
Yeah.
That's what they are doing with her. So I just I just chose her perspective for the spectator. So. Mm-hmm. And of course, as it's a short film, I thought it would be nice to have a little flicker film in the short film. So, but it was one, let's say, one way of I tried to find like very dense moments to describe one situation, and that was one way of doing it.
But it is interesting, since if I know, for example, at the film museum, if flicker films are shown, like Paul Sherritt's or something, like that there's a warning for people with epileptic disease, because they can get right. So I haven't made the connection. Yeah, it's a connection I made immediately. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and maybe we can talk a bit about this. Because I remember when we talked about Casanova Gene, you mentioned to me that it was very liberating for you to discover editing as a more instinctive process, as a more that you can be more fluent, not think so much, but go and find connections that you haven't thought about, and so on. Mm-hmm. And I found a kind of similar mode of editing sometimes, but there's a bit more. It's a bit more narrated, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I felt that this is still there. Nevertheless, there's some moments where it just matches, and then it creates something in between the image. So, was the experience of Casanova Gene important for you also for that film, and did you develop on that, or was it just the same, or was it completely different?
What was different and what I really enjoyed is that I had really I had a shooting period and I had an editing period, and there was nothing in between. So that was the huge difference for Casanova Gene, where I was shooting and editing and shooting and editing and writing and shooting, and so I did not do that again. And I really it really helped me in editing. I never had the idea that I should shoot anything else, so which is of course possible, but but what was of course a difference was that I really had like a script. I also had a script for Casanova Gene, but as I said, it was developing all the time and changing. So, and there I had a script, and it took me a while to not just re-edit the script, let's say. So I had to find the film out of the material, not out of the script. So so that was the difference, and also of course the working with language was different than in Casanova Gene, because there were dialogues, and we filmed also already situations with people speaking. Most of the situations they were speaking in the off, so that, which was already like the idea when we filmed, but it gave me the possibility to work on the dialogues after filming again. That was what I was like really doing again and again. I recorded dialogues again and again because it took me a while to find the right tone, let's say.